Oh, it's worked. We're live. Good evening. Here we are, finally. Sorry about that ridiculous shitfuckery that was going on there a few minutes ago with the link. It didn't work. Hopefully this is working now. Yeah, it looks like it is. It says we've got people watching, so that's good. Lots of comments. There's some really good comments on the other one, which before we managed to get on air. They've gone now. Can't read any of them. You know, if you thought you did a good comment, post them again down the side, and we'll try and read them out. We're all here because I think
about football. I noticed quite a few football comments.
I forgot that's why we're here, because we do one of these once a month for the Turbo members, don't we? We never talk about football. I'd forgotten that thankfully I've forgotten we've all been watching England versus Serbia over the last 2 hours or so. Before we start talking, Sam, about our own thoughts and feelings and opinions about it. Whoa there. Technology meltdown.
Yeah.
We're joined by Baby
we
Pele.
haven't heard from him for a while.
Baby Pele is back, and Baby Pele is going to be assessing the matches, and we be able to tell what he feels by the colour of his baby grow. So let's see what colour Baby Pele is wearing tonight. Green. Baby Pele wearing green. I've got a list here. Hang on a second. I've got a checklist of the different colours and what they mean. Green means deeply troubling.
Oh.
That's what he thinks about England tonight. Deeply troubling. Says Baby. Thanks, Baby
I've
Pele.
noticed that quite a few people are troubled by the performance. So Pele's obviously in tune with the British public.
Deeply troubling, he says. Good to have him back, though. So what do you reckon?
Sometimes he starts crying. And if he cries, just don't bother comforting him, because he needs to learn to self-soothe.
You've got to let him cry. We've got to let him cry.
Let him cry out. Put him in a drawer.
He's in the drawer now, here.
Something. I'll just cover him in something so we can't hear the crying.
What is it you cover them in again? Is it muslin?
Yeah, wrap him tight in that. Like if you've got bubble wrap, that's just as good.
That'll do. Just keep his poke a little hole in for his mouth for him to breathe.
Yeah, little mouth hole.
There we are. All right. So, England won, Serbia 0. It's a victory. I thought the first 20 minutes are pretty good, and then it went to shit basically after we scored, because we didn't try to score any more goals.
It's just same old England. It's just sort of depressing. I said, I've seen enough. I know how this will end, this whole tournament for England.
Quarterfinals, probably.
Maybe if we're lucky. I mean, the thing is, the good teams, and even not the best teams, like Italy, wouldn't say they were considered one of the best. But even when they're not creating chances, they can just keep the ball. They just keep it until such a time where they find a chance. And England can never do that, because we've never really had one of those. We've never really had players who just are able to just fucking keep it simple and pass it around.
Didn't Deschamps, water carriers? That's what we need.
Or Alonso that Spain used to have, or Xavi. Spain have always had them. Italy have always had them. They just tap the ball around. They bore you to death because they just keep possession. England only have two gears, which is either defend, or attack. And most games, you just have to fucking squeeze the life out of them until the opposition lose concentration for a split second, and then you score. But what's the most annoying thing about watching England is the completely over-the-top way that all of the silly pundits and commentators respond to everything. So in the first 20 minutes, I said to my son, basically, England are the Tottenham Hotspur of the international scene, right? Completely overblown sort of idea of themselves, right? Consider themselves to be in an echelon that is way above what any kind of reality would suggest they are, and get completely carried away. I don't know if you remember, but back in September, Spurs beat a 10-man Sheffield United at home, and the players all came out onto the pitch, right, after full time, and did a guard of honour for themselves, right, running towards the crowd. It was September, right?
What?
Because
I don't remember this.
Yeah, they all joined hands. Like when you've won a tournament, they all joined hands.
Yeah.
And they went, whoa, and ran towards the crowd, and all the Spurs fans, oh, because
Okay.
I mean it's the most Spurs thing you can do. It's September. You've beaten the worst team in the league. They had 10 men, and you had to score twice in the last minute. But it's basically at that point the Spurs community decided, well, we're champions elect. We might as well start celebrating now. And that's England all over in every tournament. First half hour, I thought we played all right. All right. I thought Bellingham looked very good for 20 minutes, half an hour. And the rest of the team just played all right. You know,
Bellingham's a standout player.
Bellingham looked. I haven't seen a lot of Bellingham, obviously, because he's never played in the Premier League, and I sort of just assumed he was another overhyped player. But in the first half hour, he did look like a world-class player, like one of those players who could just do everything.
His run for the goal was phenomenal.
Yeah. He's a great player.
And to get in that right place at the right time and get on that.
Foden is just like, England just have to face up to the fact they've got Bellingham. It's Gerrard and Lampard all over again, trying to fit square pegs into round holes just so you can get all the best players on the pitch. But Foden has never played well for England. He was diabolical tonight, completely anonymous most of the time. And when he did get a ball, he gave it away. So you got to drop him.
Too many of these England players are made to look really good by the international players who play alongside them at club level.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And now that they're all floundering together among the Englishmen, they haven't got a clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't
England have got, like, I would say, Rice and Bellingham, very good players. John Stones and Carl Walker, very good players. After that, Kane, you can tell he's had a year in the Bundesliga. Like, he didn't look very good. He should have scored from Bowen's cross. The rest of them are just all right. I mean, when you got people like Conor Gallagher coming on, you just think, bloody hell, this is scraping the barrel here. So I think England are not shit, but they're not nearly as good as the pundits think that they are.
Yeah. They're always, at this stage, they're kind of always a quarter-final team. They got really lucky in the World Cup in 2018. They got really lucky in the Euros. They got the final because the run to the final in the knockout stages in both them tournaments was very generous. They found their level in the last World Cup in Qatar, and they'll find it again here, unless I haven't looked at the run to the final from the knockout stage onwards. But they'll go out in the quarterfinals, probably on penalties, and they'll probably win the second round on penalties. They'll probably win the second round outright, and then go out on penalties.
They'll lose on penalties, and then there'll be some sort of narrative about a perceived injustice. Like Guy Mowbray, the commentator, was going, well, England deserve a little bit of luck in major tournaments, don't we? And I was like, why? What is that supposed to mean? Like, why is the accepted narrative that England are always cheated in some way out of they deserve? I can't remember that happening.
No,
I can't remember that. I know we did it in '66 against the Germans the other way round, but I'm not sure where the hard done by England sort of romantic narrative comes from. We just always get beaten.
That's the thing.
Sometimes on pens because our players just bottle it and miss penalties.
Yeah, we got to the final that time, the first time since '66. So we're just not that good. We're not as good as the Spaniards and the Italians, the Germans and the French. There you go. Quarterfinal team.
They're better at football, but we've got a couple of very good players. I think Rice and Bellingham are both brilliant, but other than that, it's not. There's no one awful. Although I would say that Phil Foden was awful tonight, and I think that every time I've seen him play for England, he's been pretty awful. So the Southgate's got to have some bollocks about that, I think. And
look, here's actual football commentator Nigel Adderley, who knows this thing or two. In 2018, scored 9 out of 12 from set pieces and got crosses in because they didn't have enough creative players. Loftus-Cheek played. Now they don't put enough crosses in. Something in that. Set pieces is always a big thing. Set pieces is always a big thing. And I'll tell you what, for all of his qualities or lack of qualities, Jack Grealish will win you free kicks in and around the box.
He will, yeah.
And he's not in the squad. But,
and we got there was Trent Alexander-Arnold taking corners from the right tonight. I don't know if he does that for Liverpool. Maybe he does, but it just didn't feel like. He's right, Nigel. In 2018, we were doing that thing where everyone stood in a line. I liked that. Do you remember? I think we both. We both enjoyed that.
I think Glenn Hoddle called it. What did Glenn Hoddle call it again? The love something.
The love train.
Love train. That was it.
Yeah. Doing the old love train there, like he thought they might all be bumming each other.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to tell us.
Yeah, but I think that it would be
Doing
nice
the old
to see
human
something like
centipede
that,
there.
just to liven it up. Who are we playing next? Is it Denmark or Slovenia?
Oh, I've forgotten. I think it's
and when? Who cares?
It's 5 o'clock, and I think it's on Thursday. Somebody will tell us in the comments, but it's at 5 o'clock next.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's probably the worst game of the Euros. England usually deliver the worst game, don't they? If there's a tournament going on, I can think historically to like games. I remember that England versus Ireland in Italia 90. Italia 90 was this wonderful tournament that lit up football until it got to the game where England had to play Ireland, and like people in other countries were almost being sick having to watch it.
Yeah, chopping up the television.
The tournament's been pretty good until tonight, and it was just
I've
boring.
really enjoyed it.
I was looking at my phone for the last 10 minutes or so.
Rob Doyle observes, we were rubbish at the start of Euro 96. We drew 1-1 with Switzerland. It was awful. We'll get better. Sam will be in his night costume by the second round.
Well,
that's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, that's a fair comment because I'm being all grumpy tonight. I've got a really bad cold. I'm not feeling great. And of course, he's right to say that if we even show a glimmer of being good in any of the other games, my Crusader costume, to give it its correct term, I threw out when I was doing a big clear out of the cupboard under the telly in the bedroom earlier this year, and it with a heavy heart it went. But I did know there was a tournament
year.
In the tournament year, but I'd had it for 2 tournaments, and I thought to myself, well, if I get excitable again in the tournament, which I know myself well enough to know that there's always a chance that could happen, I thought, time for a new costume. What that costume might be, I don't know. But you may remember I've always had my eye on a Queen Elizabeth II outfit, which is available on Amazon.
That would be very becoming. Do not use that site you were talking about on the podcast the other day because the delivery time is going to be far too long.
Oh, yeah. I'm already getting skeptical about that. Although we did have some people get in touch and say they'd used it and they were big fans. Don't know if you saw those messages.
DHgate, there it is.
But DHgate as yet have not dispatched my Italia 91, but they have yet to dispatch the 2 current England shirts for my kids.
Right.
So I think they might be coming long after we've been knocked out on penalties.
Can I show you
my kids are going to go, what the fuck are we supposed to do with these?
Yeah. Keep them for the World Cup. I'll show you something that was sent in. I've forgotten who it was. I'll try and find out who it was that sent us it, so I can give them a name check. I don't know if they're watching or not. Sorry, just talking amongst yourselves while I just look for this. Fucking preparation. Yeah, it was Matthew Roberts. I don't know if you're tuning in tonight, Matthew, but he saw this. Look at that Sheffield United flag. What does that say there?
Bring back finger in. Interesting. Although regular listeners will know that we've since moved on. That was one of our manifesto pledges back in 2018. Our new manifesto flagship pledge is bring back big cunts. So if anyone's going out to the next game in Germany, knock yourself up a flag doing that, and we'll send you a biscuit.
On board with Keir Starmer there with bring back big cunts, aren't we?
Yeah, bring back big cunts. That's what we all want to see.
Ploopy says, I'm Matthew Roberts. You can't believe him, really, haven't you? There's no reason not to believe him. Thanks, Matthew, for that.
Yeah.
A couple of observations.
Is he a Sheffield United fan, or did he just spot that?
I think he just spotted it. It's been on the social media, I think.
Yeah. Did you see World Cup face man tonight as well? It's nice to see.
I did. I've got him down. I've got a fan bloke with the face.
With the face man.
Face man.
It was nice to see him back. Especially the second half. It was so boring. You know, I was watching it with my good wife and my son, and we were getting so bored that we were desperate for anything to amuse us. And I said, "Oh, face man's somewhere in the crowd," and they'd forgotten about him, so I reminded them of him. And then the BBC was shrewd enough to find images of him because it was the only thing to lift our hearts, wasn't it?
He looks like a teddy boy fuckface, I like to call him.
Teddy boy fuckface, he does.
Yeah. So that's a couple of observations. I've written stuff down about the match tonight. The use of the word generational is creeping in.
Oh, too much.
I think it's coming up on the shoulders of iconic. It might have to be snubbed out.
It is,
Jude Bellingham is a generational talent.
Generational icon.
Yeah. Whoa, generational icon. Fucking hell. Foul throws, loads of foul throws from the Serbs. Loved that.
Yeah,
Bang into all of that. Fucking off that, whatever.
Did you see the quote where? Did you see the bit? Obviously, we were talking on the episode that went out earlier about how Martin Keown is an imbecile, and another, you know, in our unofficial Euros imbecile watch, another real prize imbecile for the Hall of Fame is, of course, Rio Ferdinand.
Oh, I was going to say that as well. Yeah,
one of Britain's biggest idiots.
Completely.
Right, and he was on when we had a good first half. I was so grumpy. I went, "Oh no, I'm gutted. We played quite well in the first half." My wife said, "Why?" I said, "Because now we're going to have to listen to Rio Ferdinand talk utter fucking shit about how good England are for the whole of the half time. It's going to be a nightmare." And sure enough, he did. He gets completely carried away. Have you noticed how like witless he is? He takes himself and everything he says deadly seriously, but everything he says is completely inane, right?
Yeah.
And he said, Jude, he's going out there. And what I like about him, he announces things as if he's about to say something really profound as well. Like he cues up what he's about to announce because he thinks he's got the nation on tenterhooks. He goes, what I like about him, is the way that he walks out onto the pitch, and he puts his chest out and he says, I am here. This is me. I am him.
I am him. I am he.
Right. Like, he's talking about Jude Bellingham. I knew he'd focus on Jude Bellingham. And it's just like, fucking
That's
hell.
That's from I Am the Walrus, isn't it?
Why have, and we are all
I know that Chris Shaw's watching.
Dripping from a dead dog's eye.
Yeah.
He's dripping from a dead dog's eye. And that is what I like about him. He's like a pornographic priestess. You know? And
he's the Eggman.
He's the Eggman. He's the Eggman, you know. Mika, talk to me about the Eggman.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. He's a good player, you know. He's a good player, though. He's like phone shop man. He's terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible. And you sort of think Mika Richards, who I think's great, is almost like embarrassed for him. You know.
I didn't see any of it. I went and played darts with my son at half time, and I
you just got to. I couldn't go to my mum's today because I was ill and I didn't want to infect everyone with my illness. But she gave my kids went and they came home with a dish of some of the veg, including the cauliflower cheese from lunch. So at half time, I warmed that up in the microwave and focused on getting stuck into my steaming hot plate of food, as Roy would say. Yeah. But unfortunately, I left the sound on and had to listen to fucking prize idiot Rio Ferdinand. Ballon d'Or.
He talked about, he says things that he thinks is profound. There's real profundity on the screen there. International foul throws are lush, says Adverse Emperor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a good bit of Martin Keown. Andrew Barty, my non-football liking mate, was on a train with Keown the other week. He said he introduced himself to a very attractive lady by saying, "Hi, I'm Martin Keown. I used to be a professional footballer."
Oh, Martin Keown.
Fucking great.
I got nothing against Martin Keown. Like I say, I think that he is probably a nice. Well, I met him. He's a nice guy, but he is an idiot. But Rio Ferdinand, I don't even think he's a nice guy. You couldn't hang out with Rio Ferdinand because he lacks self-awareness. He's really dull, and he'd just bore the shit out of you, wouldn't he?
Yeah. There's a narcissism about Ferdinand which Keown hasn't got because of the way he looks.
Yeah.
Social area.
Yeah.
Which Ferdinand doesn't have that.
No, Ferdinand really loves himself.
What else did I observe? Generational. I don't really have time for this tonight. We can save it for the next game, but I got a 6-in-1 pen for Father's Day. I'll unbox that.
Different colours.
I'm not telling you. I'll unbox it after the next England game because I don't think we're going to have time for it. We've done 20 minutes already. It's getting late. Observations. Yeah, Stojkovic, Serbia coach, was a fucking brilliant player in his day.
Is that the Bulgarian? Oh no, not Stojkovic.
Yugoslav.
Oh right.
Yugoslav.
there was a Bulgarian Stojkovic as well, wasn't there? The one who played for Barcelona.
Was he called Stojkovic as well?
Yeah.
Because this one played for Marseille for a bit.
Yeah.
But his nickname is Pixie.
Oh, yeah.
And he got it from Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx.
Mr. Jinx.
Which he loved, apparently, as a kid. And
Yeah.
it says here, I've seen a quote where he said, I never missed an episode.
He's seen every episode.
He's seen every episode.
I mean, I liked that show, but I wouldn't be able to say I'm a complete...
Stoichkov's the Barcelona lad.
Better... Oh, yeah, Stoichkov. The better nickname would have been Mr. Jinx, though. I'd love a player to have the nickname Mr. Jinx.
Mr. Jinx.
Might start calling Jude Bellingham that.
It could be, yeah. So that was good. I've got no other observations. Fan bloke and Teddy Boy Fuckface, yeah. The continuing calling of Trent Alexander-Arnold Trent is annoying. Don't give him his first name when he's got his surname on his back.
But Alexander-Arnold is a long thing to say frequently throughout a game.
You got to say it. There's more and more double-barrel names these days. That's where we're at. I don't know.
Nigel Adderley's watching. Before we go, if he can respond quickly, Nigel Adderley, top footballing ref, commentator, tell us what you think about that and what you call him when you're commentating on games. Here he is.
Nigel Adderley's busy telling us that Brian Cristante of Italy is named after Brian Ferry.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Brian Ferry fans, look up one of our favourite episodes from many years ago entitled Brian, It's Brian.
It's Brian Ferry versus Eno. Yeah. Some kind of ITV connection. In Pat Nevin's book, he reveals Martin Keown's nickname at Everton was Brain of Britain.
Why have the BBC? Why have the BBC? There's so many ex-footballers who want to be in punditry. They all want to do it, right? Because it's easy, it's well paid, it's fun. Why have they stuck with Keown for so long? And why in this World Cup, in this Euros, have they asked Ferdinand when they could have the pick of anyone? You know,
Garth Crooks is still on a retainer at the BBC. He's still lurking around. He didn't do much, but he's still there.
Do you like that meme? Do you like that meme of him agreeing? You know, when you have to do noddies and come around him.
Yes.
And it's been used a lot today because people are going, this is you responding to your wife when she outlines all the chores you need to do. You know you're going to be doing nothing but watching Euros for the next 4 weeks.
Nigel Adderley says Alexander-Arnold. First names are for family members.
Yes, well said, Nigel. Right. Well said. Yes. There's the real pro.
Very good.
But I don't know what your relationship is with Guy Mowbray, because if he's watching, that could have caused an issue.
It is. I really like Guy Mowbray, but I tell you what, there is far too much chatter in commentating. And the reason is because they've got a co-commentator all the time. I was watching it tonight, listening to fucking Guy Mowbray and Alan Shearer talking about Alan Shearer had his photograph taken with the Gareth Southgate lookalike earlier in the day. And he'd been wearing a waistcoat and all this sort of thing. And I just thought, what we wouldn't give for Barry Davis, having given us 25 seconds of silence just while we watched the game.
Yeah, quite. They should do that, you know, and the little banter they have between whoever the co-commentator is and the commentator, it always is like what can only be described as banter. I've never heard one funny thing ever, apart from in about 1987 when Laurie McMenemy said there was I don't know who he was doing it with, whoever was on ITV at the time, and the commentator said Mal Donaghy was playing for Man United. And he did a pass back, and the commentator said, Donaghy back. And Laurie McMenemy went, Donaghy back. And that's the only time I've ever laughed at any in-game banter between commentators. And that was a long time ago.
Yeah, just on the back of your little sneezing fit there, Gerard9334 says, bless you, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what I've got, but it feels like a Republican, which I believe is impossible. But maybe it never went away.
Double COVID. We'll wrap it up there. We'll do another one of these after the England game, but it might not be till after the evening game. I don't know. We'll work out the timings because they're playing 5 o'clock on Thursday, I think it is. Yeah. We might do more of these even when England are playing. Fucking, you know.
Fuck it.
Fucking
we're around, and if you're around in the daytime and you practice the Just Rest lifestyle like us, fuck it, we'll do one in the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing better to do. As also, don't forget, if you're watching this as a freeloader or any other IFS level than Turbo, we do one of these once a month. Not talking about football for the IFS Turbo. So come on, upgrade.
Get involved. Well worth it. Yeah.
Because the tournament is being held in Germany, Sam, you don't know this bit I'm going to do. We're going to end each one of these with a golden moment from German history.
Oh, that's good.
And we're going to end with Kraftwerk in 1970 inventing techno music.
Oh, great.
Live. So we'll have that. So thanks for watching us, and we'll be back with one of these in a few days' time. Cheers, everyone. And here's Kraftwerk.
Goodbye.